In front of the Syrian embassy in London, you will find them every Saturday chanting for freedom to the country that they've never been at, neither their parents. There are no statistics regarding the number of Syrians in exile, but the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which based in London, says about 5,000 are living in the UK. Shahad and Omar are the grandchildren of an exiled Syrian. They demonstrate weekly. Back home in London, they croon the demonstration slogan while watching their cartoons program. People want to topple the regime. Syrians are one, they are saying. Their mother Kinana is cautious to plant Syria in their day-to-day life and to prepare them to return to Syria.
Because there's a possibility now that we can go back. I think that's the main reason why I teach them about, I teach them the language, teach them the dialect.
The Syrian revolution has not only changed Kinana's parenting methods, but also who she is.
Before the revolution, I was like, no, I'm British, I'm not Syrian, I've never been to Syria. The videos that come out, and especially when I see like the area where my dad used to live, it's like an attachment has grown, I see these people, I'm like...
The story started 31 years ago, when her father was considered to be part of the Muslim Brotherhood movement. He was summoned to the security and intelligence apparatus many times.
I was subjected to severe torture. My back was broken, for example, when I was inserted into a tire, dulab, and I was beaten very badly.
Mr. Walid kept his painful stories away from his children and tried to keep their hopes in going back alive as much as he could.
When I sort of knew, more or less the full story in year 11, I just thought, okay, I'm probably going to live in Britain for the rest of my life. And then now when the revolution started, I just feel like it's just inevitable that I will be able to go back one day.
His Syrian family and the lifetime he spent abroad has not eased Mr. Walid constantly longing for Syria. He says he feels like a prisoner, and he describes his time out of Syria as the life of a fish out of water.
Living abroad is some sort of a transitory period for me, because all the time I feel that my final destination is Homs.
Without pausing, he says yes when asked whether he would go back to Syria for good if he gets the chance. And he says the returning time is approaching.
After arriving in Homs, I'm going to the cemetery to visit my father and mother, especially my mother who died, and I'm trying to speak to her, but she can't hear me.
Although their parents ran away from Syria 30 years ago, the children of the exiled Syrians ran for it in the London Marathon this summer. Razan and Omar, the children of Mr. Walid, were among them.
We want to show solidarity with the Syrian public, with the Syrian revolutionists.
Omar's family is one of tens of thousands who escaped from Syria in the 80s because of the harsh crackdown. Syrians might have many versions of what happened then, but they all agree it was a horrifying time in Syrian history.
In the late 1970s, there was a challenge to the regime of Hafiz al-Assad, and the response was absolutely brutal. And the culmination was the massacre in Hama in 1982.
The suppression targeted all whom opposed the Hafiz al-Assad regime, regardless of their ideology. Dr. Alan says,
any party or individual perceived to be opposed to the regime was targeted with the utmost brutality. Many of them left the country.
Hussam was from the lefties, and after most of his friends were detained, he decided it was the time to leave Syria in 1989. He joined the thousands of Syrians who are in exile here in London because he was a friend of the Labour Communist parties in the 80s, the time that he has been fighting for years to forget.
We just remember the brutalities, the killings, the imprisoning people.
The Syrian uprising wiped his bitterness away and has brought his soul back to life.
What's happening in Syria reshaped my life and my family's life. For the first time in my life, and I'm 50 years old, I feel confident.
Hussam's wife says she's now rediscovering the man that she married 14 years ago.
I had the feeling that he's like a box, locked box, and he forgot the key somewhere. But the really surprising thing, since the revolution started until now, he started talking about things I never knew.
Hussam has always planned to go back to Syria at the first chance. And now, seeing it getting closer, he's planning for it in details.
I might go to have a good knafe. I would visit my father's grave. The father, I couldn't say farewell to him when he died.
His wife brought a part of Damascus and planted in Hammersmith. She says the Syrian antiques shop that she owns is a cure for her homesickness.
So I made this business to feel that I'm still in Syria.
She is not banned from going back to Syria, but being married to Hussam has affected her.
I flew to the UK by myself without him coming to Damascus and meet my family, and most of my family, they don't know him until now, and we have 2 children.
Elfat goes to Syria every summer with the children, but she says they cannot enjoy their trip, thinking of Hussam, who misses Syria the most, but cannot join them there.
Layla asked me many times, Mom, why we go to Damascus, to Syria without my dad? I miss my dad here. And she breaks my heart when she eats something really delicious in Damascus and she says, my dad loved this food or whatever.
Free Syria!
Regardless of their backgrounds, the thousands of Syrians in exile here in the UK share the same dreams of going back and the overwhelming longing for their homes, the homes that their children and grandchildren have never seen. But the revolution renewed Syria in their hearts, which is beating faster now to reach the day of return.
Do we want it? No! What do we want? Freedom! What do we want it? No! Where's the human rights? Where's the human rights? Where's the human rights? Where's the human rights? Syrian people losing lives! Syrian people losing lives! Syrian people losing lives! Syrian people losing lives! Food and